Kia ora koutou and welcome to Manawa Matters. Thank you for being here. We are up to the final episode. We're 3 surgeries in, and then I get a call from my GP. What does he want?
I know when you returned home, you were so well and so happy, that all of that was coming through you. And I think I was reminded of the person that I'd met when we were 11.
Wow.
Because there was that smile was genuine. And, just that the healthiness and the gratitude, I think, was really, really evident, but also just so proud of yourself. I mean, that you done it.
Yeah. That's where I got to in the end. So by the time I had that gastric bypass, that was cool. But of course, I'm still doing monitoring and blood work. So the second operation for my heart was absolutely 100% a success. Then I was looking forward to the gastric bypass because now it's like, I told you I'm going to fix myself, and this is part of that journey, the choice that I made. Then I had the gastric bypass, and because we're still monitoring my blood work, I go in for my checkup, and I'm with the cardiologist, and he says, excellent, this is looking good. We'll just keep monitoring. But he pulled my medication, all of it, which was really great because that's what I had been working towards, and I was so happy. So there were lots of reasons why I was starting to celebrate and actually being grateful, because what I realised up until that point in my life, it didn't matter what had happened or what I had succeeded at. I didn't celebrate any of my success, any of it. I literally went, okay, that's done, tick off the list, what's next? Because I was, we've talked about it, I was too busy no, I don't want to see what else I've got going on in my head. What's next? Fix. On to the next thing. So I actually had built up a really unhealthy behaviour for years and years of not celebrating my successes. And it's really important because when you manage other people, you actually don't genuinely celebrate theirs. And as you know, when managing staff and managing other people, building up their wairua or acknowledging them. I was good at acknowledging, but I could have been better. But because I wasn't doing that for myself, I could only get so far with that for other people. And they're looking up to you. You're responsible for them. So here we go. I am finally celebrating my successes, reducing the medication step by step. The second successful heart surgery, thank God. Now I've made a good decision for myself with the gastric bypass. Excellent. We've had the gastric bypass, now we're just monitoring. And then I get a call from my GP. And I think it's all over, right? I think, yay, we're on the recovery now. It's sort of like 12 months worth of recovery now. My GP rings up and we've got another issue. Something else has been flagged in my blood work. There's too much calcium there and it's spiked from out of nowhere, considering we've spent the last 2.5 years monitoring my blood work and this has never come up. And now we've got this. And I didn't really understand what he was saying. I was just like, why are you ringing me? My poor doctor. How come you're ringing me? I was thinking, what do you want? Sorry. And he's saying to me, no, there's something in your blood work. I've already made an appointment with the specialist. You need to go and see a parathyroid specialist. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, don't worry, I'll send you all the detail. We've booked you in. You need to be prepared for that. And you need to go and have these tests before you go. Because I had to go and have those tests, that confirmed it. Going to see a specialist, by that stage, I'm like, specialist, that's serious. I didn't even wonder about it. I just went, right, so that's serious, whatever that is. because otherwise you just send me to go and get tests so you can have a look at it. But no, it was straight away you're getting booked in. And he said, yeah, and you're going to the top specialist in Australia.
So on that journey again.
Yeah, and here we go. And I'm thinking, oh, well, whatever. Yeah, I'll go. See you in the new year. Then we go to see this parathyroid specialist, and he tells me, you've got tumours in your throat. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Because I didn't know anything about parathyroid. I'd heard the word thyroid. I didn't really know anything about that. And so he starts explaining, you got parathyroid, they're the size of like a grain of rice, and they're situated right by your vocal cords at the back. And what they do is they regulate the amount of calcium in your bloodstream. And when it goes, hey, there's not enough calcium in your bloodstream, you're low, it pinches it from somewhere else in your body and it pumps it into your bloodstream. And of course, the biggest place it will take it from is your bones. So over time, it'll keep pinching it from your bones every time your calcium levels are low in your blood and pump it into your blood. So your bones are getting weaker and your blood's getting heavy like concrete. Oh, what a miracle our bodies are. Something the size of the grain of rice is doing that and regulating that in your body. And what happened is these tumours had gotten so big, I'm pretty sure they were tight in there around my vocal cords, and so they have to go in and take it out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so here's another operation. I didn't actually, when he said tumours, it didn't dawn on me he was talking about cancer. I just went, tumours, okay, and you're going to go in and take him out. And the other thing is because when he's telling me this, I'm like really deflated. I'm like, I don't have anything left. I actually don't have anything left to fight. What's that? Kiwaha, kopotaho, right? I literally am out of path. I've got nothing left to fight, and I just go, whatever. But I was glum bum. I literally was like, here's another thing. Yeah, just go in and take them out. And then I was like, because every other surgery I'd had been keyhole, I wasn't even thinking about how they were going to take them out. I was thinking, oh, you must be going down my throat. No, they cut right across your throat. Yeah, and you won't even notice the scar. And I'm thinking, what scar? And I said to him, what scar? And he said, this one. Yeah. Cut you across the throat, go in, take out the tumours. And he said, you don't need all those parathyroid. So he said, if any of them need to come out, we'll be doing that. Yeah. But we'll leave you, the minimum that you can survive on would be about 2, I think he was saying. Anyway, I wasn't really listening by then, because then I was like, wow, you're going to go in here and I'm going to have... He goes, yeah, it'll just look like an age line. And I went, you mean an age line on this throat that doesn't have any age lines? Yeah, but he was very upbeat and very experienced. So his kōrero was actually really good. It was straight to the point. It was light. It was like, yeah, we're going to go and do this, but we've done this hundreds of times. We don't have a concern. They are big, but we should be able to go in. So you're going in 2 weeks. That's how serious that was, right? I remember actually going and having a scan in 2014, like years before that, but we never followed it up. The report that came back after that was keep an eye on it, come back and review it, and we never did that, and that was in the notes.
Was that throat thing that you talked about earlier?
Yes, that I was
that's
swollen.
What it was?
I often felt like, hey, it's tight in there. From time to time, I think when you're not feeling well, your glands swell up anyway. But maybe when I was low in my immunity or whatever, I get this feeling that I didn't have any room in my throat to swallow. And literally it was because those things were flaring up.
So all of
the tumours were growing
that were found eventually or discovered, your body had actually given you all of those indications at different points.
My body was already telling me. I was just like, oh, well, if my eyes are still open, you're still walking around, you're okay to buy. Let's go. Yeah, and now let's normalise that pain and just keep going. because they had been there and the size that they were after the operation. He showed me. He drew a whole throat around them. Yeah, he drew the vocal cords, he drew everything around it. And he said these were really big. Part of the recovery is that you lose your voice. Now, given that I'd always had my voice and I've always been able to sing, I was soon going to learn in the next 12 months how much I'd taken for granted. Because I literally couldn't, for the first week, I couldn't even talk. For the first 3 months, I couldn't laugh because I'd be talking and my voice would disappear. It literally would break. It did take 12 months for it to come back, but even then it wasn't even back. So now I can't sing up high like I used to.
In your previous life, your voice was your mahi. Another blow, another potential blow, but it's the power of the journey, I think.
Because I actually didn't think that I'd ever be able to sing again. I took my voice for granted. And that is the frustrating thing too, when you can't talk, you realise you have taken your voice for granted because you've always had it. And even as I got better, 12 months later, not being able to sing, that really made me sad. I was really sad about that. All the times when I could have sang, we go back there. Yeah, that did actually make me really sad. Since we've moved home to Aotearoa, being able to heal in a very real way.
Your life today is quite different. You're out in the mara, you're cooking. I mean, that wasn't in your
anyone
life.
who knows me knows that I wasn't going to be in... I wore gumboots, but only as a fashion accessory. I wasn't digging up in the mara. My gumboots were clean. Yeah, one of my cousins tried to shame my gumboots because they were like, those aren't gumboots, they're way too clean. No, even anyone who knows me knows that I've never been in the garden. Yeah, but I couldn't wait to come home and be able to do that. But yeah, it's a very different life. So after that, it was 12 months of recovery. So what he did tell me is that the tumours were benign, which was great. And then he goes, I'll see you in 12 months. Well, the thing with that is that I thought he was saying, yeah, you're good to go. And so I did skippity-doo-dah out of his office. I just thought, yeah, there's another thing I've done. Celebrate your success, timia, right? And then we're on the weight loss journey, getting used to that, monitoring my heart, but less so. Also happy because we're monitoring 12 months worth of not being on medication. I don't need to see any of these specialists until another year. So that's another year where I'm starting to work on other things now that we've got the physical out the way. And what that meant was a lot of that following year was about the journey with my weight loss. And that was weird because you are losing that weight really fast, but also you have another set of problems. Like, where do you buy your clothes from now? Where do small people buy their clothes? Hey, what size am I now? You'd walk into a shop and actually gravitate back to the size that you were. Initially, I was actually going back to City Chick. I couldn't fit anything in there, but that's what I was used to. So I was looking for their smallest. Well, no, you were way too small for that. And so having to learn all of that. And also feeling so well, not just because of this weight loss journey, but because my heart is fixed. I don't have the tumours. Now I'm losing weight, so I am lighter. I'm able to walk, skippity-doo-dah, get in the pool, not be tired. I'm sleeping better. Hey, I spent that next 12 months trying to navigate what is this new body. Also, the thing about gastric bypass is that the easiest part is the actual operation. You still don't get away with having to do the work of undoing your behaviour. You still have to put that mahi in. So it's not cheating by any means. It is not easy by any means either. All they've done is made your stomach smaller. You can still break it, you can still stretch it, and you can still undo it. Now, that costs a lot of money. I'm not about to waste that money on breaking it, but aside from that, I didn't want to be mawiwi anymore. So I'm really 100% committed to taking care of my eating because I still love food. But the other thing was I wasn't prepared for hey, there's stuff that you're not going to be able to eat. Like, damn it, I can't have cream anymore because it would just set me off, right? Or when you do overeat, you're really sick. Like, you're really sick. So you have to undo all that bad behaviour that you had before. All the snacks you were eating after midnight, all of that. You have to walk your way through that. You still have to monitor your portion size or else you're going to be sick and not in a good way. Yeah, even today. You can still cause yourself other problems even though you've had the gastric. And what I say to anybody who's contemplating having that surgery and to those who are in your immediate whānau or in your support group, it takes somebody who's made a decision to actually have a gastric bypass or whatever other options they've got. It takes somebody a long time to be able to value themselves enough to make that decision. For whatever reason that they've ended up in that situation where they are obese and been obese for years and had unhealthy eating habits, it takes them a longer time to actually say, I need help and I actually really want it. You know, they're almost at the end of at the end of it. I have to do something. I want to live. I want to live. That's what they're saying. And what we don't need, and I hadn't realised that this was out there, that there was still stigma out there about people who ask for help. And I couldn't believe it. I was actually like, hey, really? Your opinion is the last thing that I'm thinking about when I made a decision to save my own goddamn life. That's about me. It's got nothing to do with you. And if you are whānau who are supposed to be supporting, the best thing you can do is to awhi and to make sure that they've got everything they need in order to make it a success, because they've still got hard work after that operation. And what we don't need is people not supporting them, as loved ones being judgy pants. Hey, it's not about you. All right, Kare? You know, it's not. And it's taken them a lot to actually reach that point where they're saying, yeah, I need help. And there's nothing wrong with that. We want to break down that whole space where we shame people for asking for help for anything. No, we're not supermen and superwomen. We're here to awhi each other. You know, lead with love, aroha, is acceptance. And what that person is saying is that I accept that I really need help. I need a helping hand. I've tried. I can't do it on my own. Yeah, the last thing we need is any judgy pences out there thinking that they've got a say when they haven't been asked for their opinion. For those who are out there contemplating that, do your research. I had a program that had a 2-year support program after it. So you had the operation and then you had a 2-year support program, people. I had a bariatric GP. I had a dietitian. I had a online support group that met every week, all talking through the different things. And they addressed all those stages and those issues that you will go through after major weight loss. And they put that in place because of this failure rate after gastric surgery. There's a high failure rate, people. So if you're contemplating that surgery, look for something that has that awhi support program in place for 1 to 2 years after. Because they're actually what made me mostly successful. Is talking to people who also were going through what I was going through and having realistic expectations. And not once was I ever asked by the doctor or dietitian, not once did they ask me, what is your weight? How much weight have you lost? It was me bringing up those numbers because it was new to me to be losing weight at those numbers. They already know you're going to win. You're going to lose that weight. So they're never going to ask you about those numbers. What they were asking me about is, how do you feel when you're eating that? Have you had different foods that you no longer can tolerate? Yeah, they were asking those types of questions. How do you feel about, being smaller? They were asking hauora questions, hinengaro questions. They were talking about that. That's where that focus was, because they want you to succeed. So look for a program that's got that.
I love that whakaaro, and I love that, look for something, look for a way or an other to succeed, because I think this whole kōrero that we've had has been about you finding what you've needed to navigate your way through to where you are now, a mindful person, a present person, a person who's reconnecting with her reo, a person who's reconnecting, with her whānau, and have had all the rest of the whānau come, that were left in whenua moemoeia back here, including your daughter who'll come here. Everybody is well. I know you're very watchful, and I know that everybody that you've shared your story with has been impacted by it, and has been shown that there is a way, because it hasn't just been one thing, as you've said. It's been multiple things over multiple years, extremely challenging, and so I'm just very proud to have heard it from my side, buddy.
Yes, I've had a new lease on life, but it was really hard fought for, eh? I wasn't expecting to be that mawiwi. I mean, when I'm telling my story to different whānau who haven't seen me for years, I'm sort of racing through it like, oh, and then this failed, and then we had another one, and then we did that, and then they found tumours, and then I had a gastro. You know what I mean? I'm racing through it like that. And even now, I'm finding it hard to sort of like, hey, take stock. You have come a long way. Not just through those things, but, all the growth and the undoing of bad behaviours and looking at that sort of confrontational, you're challenging myself to be better and do better and to be consistent at it. That's actually the change that it's brought to my life. The most important thing is that it made me prioritise what is important. Because at the end of the day, it's whānau, it's aroha, it's manaki, and those are the taonga. It wasn't the big job with the 6-figure salary. It wasn't the big house or the flash car or anything like that. It was actually people. He tangata. It was people. Because without them, who am I? Without the tipuna, who am I? Without my children, without my mokas to come, who am I? What am I here for? So those are the things that, I want to leave you with, because it is the most important things here. He tangata.
Mauri ora.
Kia ora.
Nā koutou e te whānau. Thank you for listening to my story at Manawa Matters. I hope you found some value in what I went through. Be courageous. Learn how to look after yourself to the best of your ability and not the halfway way that I was doing it. Remember, build your team, do your fellows' research, ask questions so that you can make informed decisions about your health. Talk to your doctors, your specialists, the surgeons, the nurses. They've done all that study, and if they don't know, they'll help you to find out. Make sure that you're involved in the decision-making process and be the best champion for yourself. I'm proud of what I've been able to achieve at Te Whānau, and I am so much the better for it, and I wish that for you too. Kia ora koutou. Kia manuia.